Everybody, how's it going? Today, let's talk about the new game, Tales of the Shire. Now, I'm curious, what are your favorite parts about the Lord of the Rings? Because if you've enjoyed, cooking, having a nice breakfast with your friends, and just a calm, cozy stroll through the meadow, then you probably are playing Tales of the Shire and you're reading and or watching the Lord of the Rings wrong. I'm saying this because I've looked at the footage for Tales of the Shire, and I think it's a Lord of the Rings game in name only. And I'm saying that because I've played a lot of Lord of the Rings games, from Battle for Middle-earth to Shadow of Mordor, and even Return to Moria. And I have to say, those games are the heart and soul, show the heart and soul of the Tolkien series. Because the Tolkien series, yes, they have hobbits. That's not the whole crux of the whole thing. And, okay, granted, people enjoy different things about the Lord of the Rings differently than other people. But I'm just going, when I saw this, I just had to think to myself, it's not exactly a bad idea, but it's also not a good idea. And I say that because it does have an interesting approach, but I don't think it lends itself well to a video game. I mean, if you really want to have like a sort of a cozy life game, you're better off just playing Animal Crossing. That's the best way I can approach it. I mean, I also said in the previous video that I think the best thing they should have done is probably just ask Nintendo, hey Nintendo, make an Animal Crossing game set in fantasy. But when I've seen the production of this game, Tales of the Shire, I just had to think to myself, this was made by people who probably are too scared to watch The Lord of the Rings, but they want to call themselves a Tolkien fan. And clearly it was made by a certain group of people who have a certain way of thinking that does not lend itself to the actual fandom of Lord of the Rings. I mean, just by looking at Gandalf, my god, look at those eyelashes. God damn, he looks like he's about to take off his robe and sing It's Raining Men. And that's from the eyelashes alone. I look at the other people, looks worse than a mobile game. And seeing that and looking back at games like Shadow of Mordor, it's very disappointing. If anything, if the developers were smart, I mean, yeah, they did say that they took inspiration from things like Stardew Valley. It should have been pixelated like Stardew Valley. That way the art style would have been much simpler to do, as well as a bit more appealing to retro gamers. But yeah, when I'm looking back at previous Lord of the Rings games, such as Return to Moria and Battle for Middle-earth, granted they were all about fighting and protecting Middle-earth, and I feel like that's actually the heart and soul of Tolkien, you know, that grand adventure, that whole battle between good and evil. I'm seeing a lot of times when people are they kind of hijack these IPs just so they can, introduce their own, like, cozy life or watered down, safe versions of them, just because, they were not happy with how they were portrayed, how the films went. And, okay, you're allowed to feel that way, you're allowed to think that way, but you're also supposed to acknowledge what the other fans think about it. I mean, I've never ever seen anyone or heard anyone talk about how My Little Pony should have had a murder mystery, or at least done a I Know What You Did Last Summer special. I've never seen that, I've never heard that, and I'm pretty sure that's never even been thought of. So, basically, I don't want to get too much into it because I do have a lot of opinions on the current state of video games, but Tales of the Shire is a good example of how, it's how one idea isn't exactly the best approach to an IP. But in a way, seeing how bad it's been received, does give me hope, because in a way, this should be a wake-up call to a lot of developers that the people who are in charge should either take a step back and reevaluate what they're doing, and then maybe, just maybe, analyze the target audience one more time, and then, hey, if anything, the least they could probably do is maybe take a survey. Oh, wait, no. Capcom already did take a survey. They're not the developers, though. They just took a survey on what the general game audience likes to see in a video game, and it was the complete opposite of everything you see in Tales of the Shire. And I mean, okay, granted, if you're into cozy life and all that stuff, like I said before, just buy Animal Crossing. Just play Animal Crossing. If you really want a cozy life experience with Lord of the Rings, just buy a Lord of the Rings cookbook. It's so much easier, so much simpler, cheaper, and also you can put your own flair on it. And you know what? Make a couple of YouTube videos or Instagram videos for it. I've seen people do it online. Actually looks good. The recipes look interesting. Just do that. And, well, basically, that's all I got to say about this. Because, I mean, when I'm looking back at, how games and how game development is taking a turn, there's a lot of stuff that's happened that was not exactly, that didn't agree with a lot of gamers. And people thought that this was the current trend, that things were going to that this was going to be how games are being made now for a specific kind of audience, when they used to be for an audience that had like a general, they used to all have like a sort of a universal general thing that they all liked. And a lot of developers kind of went to, some of them, they pinpointed, okay, this group of gamers like this one, will kind of cater our game more to that one. This group of gamers likes that, will cater our next game to that. They were, mindful of what their audience wanted. Nowadays, they just think to themselves, okay, I played this game for a couple of minutes, didn't like it, I can do it better, but I'm too scared to shoot a gun, so I'll make it, I'll improve it. But they're doing that with IPs, they're hijacking those IPs, and people are waking up to it, and they've realized, you know what, you guys don't exactly know what you're doing. So, by seeing all this happen, it gives me hope that in the future, games are just gonna go back to how they used to be. They're gonna figure out, okay, this was our target demographic, this was our key audience, we'll stick to that and fix it. So, I mean, pretty much that's everything I gotta say about Tales of the Shire. If anybody has thoughts on what cozy games should be and what they think will happen in the future, please let me know.